points. And then I was going to segue saying we haven't really talked about McDavid scoring 2 points in a night because it just seems automatic, much like Austin Matthews during that goal scoring run he had, where he was just making it like, why doesn't, of course, players score a goal every game. It's easy. You're on the ice for 20 minutes. You can find time to score a goal in there. And I wanted to talk about his latest one because, oh my God, I think that's going to be a contender in our 2021 highlights of the year. Knocking a puck out of the air, tapping it, and in half a second having it on his stick. Allen had absolutely no chance on the only goal I can even think of that's been filthier this year is the one McDavid put up breaking through four Leafs. Man, that was insane, eh?
Yeah. And he is already probably the greatest Leaf. Well, easily, he's the greatest Leaf we've ever seen. But he may be, when it's all said and done, the greatest Leaf of all time. And the leader right now of a team that has clinched a playoff spot in the North Division. So that's one worry that we have put to rest. This is a team now in a great position with no more games against Edmonton, so they don't have to face a really hot team, and they can experiment with the lineup a little bit moving forward. And some of the things that I've loved seeing from them, of course, Matthews incredible, and he had another play in that game where there was kind of a chip in from the blue line, and the puck was around his shoulder level, and he like tapped it off his stick in midair and then tried to swipe at it out of midair. Like he just tapped it to himself. He almost had another one. It was, yeah, he's really special, man, and really fun to watch. And that was just one piece that stood out in a fun night for the Leafs as they took care of business against Montreal last night.
Yeah, I thought I was watching Sandin a little. I thought he looked great. He had one goal scoring chance earlier where I just really loved the positioning, the placement on the shot. He forced Allen to make like a across the body ripping glove save. And then there was another, I liked him on the power play as well. I think our second power play, which I guess the statistics starting to look a little better relative to how it was before. But the only good moment on that second power play was generated by him where he pulled the defender off him and got Thornton an open look kind of in the high slot, which I quite liked. And I guess I have two questions for you relating to that. One, with the way, if he keeps up this level of play, when Bogosian's healthy, who do you run? And in that same vein, when Hyman comes in, who do you scratch? Spezza, Thornton, or Brooks, or someone else?
Yeah, those are two great questions. I think the first one's a little bit easier to solve. Based on what's happening right now, and you still have a little bit more runway to see, but I say if Bogosian comes back, Sandin's knocking Dermott out of the lineup. Because while Dermott, I love him, he is kind of like more of that like average guy. I think Sandin has a higher ceiling out of the two. And with Bogosian, you have to have him in the lineup for the playoffs. You just need to have a guy who's willing to be physical and be that big body around the front of the net. You can't run Sandin and Dermott together because they'll get pushed around. And so it feels like it'll be Sandin Bogosian is what they're hoping to have. And Sandin has shown no reason why it shouldn't be him. He's been really, really fantastic. But Dermott's a guy, right? He's a really great seventh defenseman to have, so that if Sandin has some struggles in the playoffs as a very young defenseman who maybe hasn't taken his lumps, Dermott's a guy who has now been in a couple playoff series that you can throw in there and feel comfortable with. Again, we're talking about guys who will probably get 6 to 7 minutes a night when playoffs roll around. So I don't know how much of a difference either of them will make. It just depends on if Sandin, if he's able of running that second power play unit continually, then he's definitely getting playing time coming in the playoffs.
Yeah, that I guess before we get into the next point, that's something I've been really perplexed by this whole second half of the season is why it hasn't been Brody quarterbacking that position because up until Sean Sandin, it's mostly been Hall filling that slot, which I don't, other than just being a pure minutes thing, has never really made sense to me.
I think you just have so much skill on both of those power plays that uh, Brody, like he spends so much time being defensively responsible and like so many minutes, tough minutes, that I think just Hall again can't be sure unless you're in the locker room, but I think Hall just fits better with what they're trying to do on the power play. Of course, they have their analytics, right? And maybe Hall's shot is designed better for the orientation they have, or just the way that he gets zone entries or the way he moves the puck might just fit better. And now that they've found Sandin to really take that over, then again, that even gives Hall like a good 2 minutes of rest so that he's not running out there on the power play. And I feel like the biggest reason is Brody just logs so many heavy minutes against the top offensive talent of the other team that you don't want to send him out there for another minute, minute and a half running a power play unit because that's just going to run him into the ground.
Yeah. Then on to the forwards. Of the three I mentioned, there's one I absolutely would not pull out. I feel like it's a race between two of them. I don't know if you think similarly.
Yeah, so Joe Thornton, first of all, has just turned it up a notch recently. And I don't know if he's going to be your guy, but I love what he's done lately. Another really productive night last night. Like, I don't know if you can break up this fourth line. They've just been buzzing the last couple of games. Thornton's been everywhere. Spets has been everywhere. Adam Brooks is flying all over the place. I've really loved what he's provided. And Pierre Engvall out of the lineup is great for me because I don't think he belonged there anymore. But with Zach coming back, I think you could either see even like someone like Galchenyuk, because while we've loved what he's done, he hasn't put up points. And I don't know. People are saying it's gonna come, it's gonna come, it's gonna come, but at some point it's not. And I'd rather have Zach there than Galchenyuk if he can't put the puck in the net. And then I guess the other guy you'd look at is Wayne Simmons. You need for the playoffs. You need that toughness. So I guess it comes down to it. It would probably have to be Thornton because Brooks is your center, and Zach can't run out and be your fourth line center. So you'd see something like Hyman on the third line, and the fourth line would be Spezza, Simmons, Thornton, and just run out the 2012 All Stars.
Yeah, they've gone to that line a couple times throughout the season, but not with any consistency in back-to-back games. Yeah, you didn't mention Spezza, which is who I was also thinking. Like, that's not really a question mark. He's been such a jackknife this season, just giving you all these different great little things, and the goal scoring's been a lot more consistent than Thornton. So I think Spezza's are in the playoff spot, and yeah, Thornton and Brooks both seem to be riding the same wave of momentum. So it's a tough question on who to pull there. And
Yeah, it's such a great problem to have, right? Because even if, I guess, if you're talking playoffs, then you could actually take out Brooks and put in Hyman because at that point you really only need, like, that fourth line's going to play what, 5 minutes a night. Like, they're not going to be out that much, and I'm sure Spezza and Thornton can operate at center enough to patchwork it together. So um, that's a decision for Sheldon Keefe, and I look forward to seeing what sort of combinations he comes up with over the last 7 games of the season. Their last game against Winnipeg, I expect no like top 6 guys should be playing in that game because the Jets are going to want to come out and just injure them. Um, and 3 more games against Montreal to really set the tone for the most likely playoff series. It's going to be really interesting. I think the Canadians are going to turn up the physicality. Obviously, they're missing quite a few guys, including Brendan Gallagher, who's done for the year. But I think when they get their
wait,
guys
what?
back, they're going to be more more difficult to handle. And um, yeah, and obviously we'll see what Cole Caulfield can do for them. But they're missing some guys that when they come back, they're going to turn up the intensity, turn up the physicality.
I thought I was hearing them talk about Gallagher like skating with his cast off. I didn't realize he was out for the season.
Hmm.
That's,
Well, maybe he's healing faster than I thought.
I think there is some playoff hopes for him, but don't quote me.